So, currently trying to figure out how the fuck to get this camera to set up so that I could do a nice little fun, like, Q&A with Maddie on our drive up. Ooh, that's snow and not a raccoon. And I can't fucking figure it out because life's hard and then you die. Sorry, that was kind of morbid. Over a very first world problem. I will admit such things. What the fuck can you do? It's a whole little rant about how pissed off I was that I couldn't get shit to stay.
True. Got it. Well, we here now.
We here now.
We out here.
So, we're currently headed to the Full Moon Goddess Retreat, right?
Yep.
It's 3 hours and 23 minutes away. It's gonna be a little bit of a drive, but we's about to get tranquil. I will be tranquil because I will be tranquil and thankful at the same time.
This is true.
I also came up with another great thing today. It's called sleuting, and now I can't remember what the whole thing about it was. Anyways, also, you know, welcome, saucy. This is the spot. And we got here Child Gone Wild or Maddie, you know, whichever. She got the sauce as well. We're gonna be answering some questions today that I got off my Instagram, so from you lovely people. And yeah.
I don't know. We just out here shining, getting to this retreat.
It's hard.
It's gonna be positive vibes. It's been a rough week for both of us as far as emotional stressors and all of that stuff, but I think we're both super stoked to hit the refresh button and come back nice and renewed and do what we gotta do for the sake of our passions and our lifestyle, etc. So,
etc. And there's a whole song behind it. Anyways, we don't have to get into that.
and just so y'all can see, we are out here prepared as fuck.
To also say, we will also be shooting as well.
Yes.
That's why we ready as fuck.
So we both got options for while we're at the retreat. I'm photographing the event, so I have all my extra gear. Forgive my one nail. It's a rough life. But we are out here prepared as fuck because after the retreat, we're gonna shoot at the sand dunes and the paint mines, which are about 4 or 5 hours from Denver, depending on when you're commuting. But since we're heading south in that general direction, we'll be a lot closer when we leave the retreat. So we're gonna hit those pretty famous photography spots up on our way home. So.
I know you're doing a lot of things right now. I was just about to try and get a lot of things, and I was like, I don't want to kill us like this. I'm gonna fire at some of these questions.
Let's do it. We mosey in through traffic anyway.
Oh, fuck. I'm ripping shit! Turn this down before Isaiah's like, copyright infringements! You can hear him saying it, can't you?
Yeah.
What is your favorite setting to shoot in?
My favorite setting to shoot in.
Like studio, outside.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, okay, I know.
I thought you meant like camera settings for a second. I was like,
f-stop, you know.
Yeah, I was like, it kind of depends.
That changes based on scenery setting. I know, I'm being sarcastic. Okay.
Honestly, like, I really like having a lot of variety.
Mm-hmm.
Not only in like the fashion styles that I'm shooting, diversity in models. I also love diversity in like the environment that we're shooting in. I took some pictures in the mountains the other day and I was stoked on them. Mm-hmm. I've been very
was that the one with the yellow with, I can't remember her name, the lady with the blue hair?
Yes, Blue.
Okay. Blue,
Yep.
hey!
Yep. Her name's
Holler
Blue.
at Blue.
Hey! But yeah, I took some shots in the mountains the other day and I was like really stoked on them.
Mm-hmm.
I generally like the idea of controlling the environment if it's like a more conceptual shoot. But then at the same time, like depending on the concept, you're not always going to want a studio environment. Like, we haven't posted any of the shots yet because I'm still working on them, but we did a Little Red Riding Hood concept. So, like, that wouldn't have been nearly as dope in a studio. Of course, you want to, like, go out in the woods and shoot that in the woods. But if I'm doing, like, a body painting shoot or something with, like, or something with, like, very creative makeup or non-traditional styling, then the studio is nice because then you can bring in, like, a very specific lighting that you want. You know, you can bring, like, a little travel light with you, but there's a difference between being able to very strategically set up all the lighting in a studio compared to, you know, just bringing a little travel light with you and setting it up at Blue Hour. You know, it doesn't give you nearly as many options or nearly as much control and ability to kind of set your scene. So I think it really depends on the shoot for me. I think that if I only did studio shooting, I would get really bored with it really fast. But that's also really only because I think doing something conceptual that often is hard to come up with. It puts a little bit of pressure on you as a creative to just, you know, constantly be coming up with these more conceptual ideas. But I do think that it's really cool to be able to, like, control all the pieces of your environment when you're shooting and really, like, set the scene yourself. So
I will say you do a very good job at it. And when you put your mind to something, you fucking execute that shit.
Hey.
Also, when you cook, do anything, hair, makeup, just sauce of life, she got it. We were kind of talking about this earlier. What is your feeling on, like, the shift in body standards and stuff like that being represented among models? Do you feel like it's up to par, or do you feel like we could be doing better as a community? And I know we ain't part of that community yet. Like I always say, we's on our way. But, like, in magazines, Instagram, like, the representation of the female form, what are your thoughts on that?
I think that we're still progressing. This new age of social media being this huge important part of, like, our society in general, it comes with a lot of pros and a lot of cons, you know? There's now this new, like, perception of, like, everyone having this perfect life, and along with that comes, like, this perfect, like beauty standard. Even the models that you see that are more full-figured or more diverse in their styles and stuff like that,
I'm mad about nothing.
There's, like, this still, like, kind of expectation of, like, perfection. You know, thick models have to have, like, big butt, big boobs, slim waist, you know? Like, not that that's not great, but there's more out there, I think, than what we've kind of accomplished at this point. There's still a lot of, like, judgment or like self-doubt that comes from these platforms, but at the same time they're also opening up a lot more opportunities for creatives more easily than they ever have before. So I think we definitely still have a lot of work to do. But I think we also need to kind of just stop with the categorization.
I feel you. Like, why can't somebody just be pretty?
Exactly.
Why does it have to be like, oh, she pretty for a big girl?
Or, like, she looks awesome for a plus size model, you know? Like, there shouldn't be these different standards. There should just be this recognition of beauty. And beyond just, like, you know, standard physical beauty, I think there should be something that goes along with the way you hold yourself, the way you represent yourself during a shoot. Like, I just know, like, when I see a model and I can see that she loves herself, that she accepts herself, that she has this confidence in what she's doing, this passion in what she's going for, you know, and not just she, men as well, you know. That's another thing that, like,
that in there. We can see
I'd love to see more male models, you know, but there's this, like,
stigma.
Yeah, this weird stigma that, you know, you have to be, like, fit, you have to have abs. Like, for guys even more than women at this point, you know? So I think overall we have a long way to go with just not shoving people into categories based on their body shape or the style that they go for. Like, I think there should be some sort of acceptance for people who get out there and they say, this is my craft, this is what I want to do, I'm out here shining in these shots, you know, like I'm giving it my all, this is my personality shining through, and just accepting that and loving that for what it is, rather than, you know, having to like someone's physical appearance in order to support them if they're modeling or doing something in that field, you know? So
Any snaps to you? I wish I could snap with both hands. Like, I can't even if I... That was beautiful. Anyway.
restroom break.
Success. Okay.
I did it with them.
Jeez. Gang gang. Where are we? Furniture Row? Mattress Firm? I don't know. I feel like we can go out that door. It may be a little chally, but look at all these tables. I didn't have a bed this dope when I was little. I got robbed. My mama said no. What is that? Oh. You chubby boy. Colorado Springs got it. I think it depends what side you're on. Because I hear some parts are a little druggy. Oh, I'm dark as hell. Have you ever denied to do a shoot for personal reasons?
When I very first started modeling, I had a couple people hit me up for implied nude or boudoir shoots, which I said no to, for personal reasons that kind of expanded across a couple different things. Personally, the message that I'm trying to send through my content has a lot to do with alignment, and just very spiritual things. Not that anyone who's doing nude modeling or boudoir cannot be a spiritual person. That is not at all what I'm saying.
Make that shit heard.
But I think that there is a little bit of a stigma around those types of modeling, and I kind of felt, especially at the beginning of my journey, that stigma might negatively affect my message, being able to reach the audience that I'm trying to reach. I don't want to just preach to the choir, you know, like, it's easy to talk about alignment with people who know what that is and know what that feels like and know how to get there, but I want to reach the people who don't know what that is yet, the people who are intrigued and curious by, you know, the positivity that I try to put out with my content. Not that all of my content is upbeat necessarily, but even when it's not upbeat, I try to sort of send some sort of message, either that, you know, we're all in this together, we're all experiencing these things, or it started here, but it doesn't have to end here. Lots about the glow up and, like, the positive effects of being able to get in alignment and stay in alignment. Just sort of, like, expressing my spiritual journey in a way where not just those who are already receptive to spirituality receive it. I want those who aren't already there to be able to receive it too. So I felt like, especially early on, that implied nude and boudoir were not something that served me. I also was very new to the community and had certain safety regards as well. At this point, I have shot boudoir once, twice, technically, if you want to count one of them, but it was a conceptual shoot, so I don't really count it as boudoir.
Yeah.
But the one time that I actually shot boudoir was with my partner, Quincy. So obviously there was, you know, the knowledge of safety, the feeling that I was in control of the environment. You know, if you're working with a photographer, especially for the first time, it can kind of be like,
Just, hey, hi.
Yeah, especially if I'm in my underwear, because it's just like, you kind of have to like do a little bit shooting wise before you can kind of catch someone's vibe. So I think like if you're in your underwear, it makes it a lot harder for you to come across comfortable if you've never worked with a photographer, you don't know them on a personal level, or if you meet them and you are not feeling it, then you're kind of already there, I'm already in my underwear, like I should probably just keep going so at least I get the shots, but at the same time I'm not comfortable. So I was very just self-aware of what I was comfortable with in the early days when I was asked to do those items, those types of shoots, I guess, not items.
Just items on the list. It's fair.
Yeah.
It's like a weird, not a weird transition. I just like, I think I'm just too much like, okay, let's get naked. But I feel like for the community that you're trying to reach, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I'm just been all like, love this shit. It's yours. Not that you don't communicate the same message.
I also
just using different tools.
I also have mom issues, and my mom follows my Instagram, so I just already know she's gonna say some stuff that I probably don't want to hear.
Some fuckery?
Yeah. So that I'm not gonna lie, that has been another thing that I've considered. I've wanted to shoot boudoir more recently, just as I've sort of been pushing myself to fall in love with my body again. I think when I started modeling like a little over a year ago, I was at this place of like extreme self-love, which helped me a lot in the process of learning how to model and being confident even when I wasn't that good yet. And I kind of lost touch with that the last several months, just between self-doubt, my creative process as a photographer. I'm just like, oh, well, that modeling's on point. So sometimes I'm comparing myself a little more than I used to, but in that I've really wanted to push myself to find that love for my body again, to find that extreme confidence and just be like, here I fucking am, love me or hate me, don't look if you don't want to, you know? So I will say it's something that I'm interested in getting into at this point. I also feel like with the whole spiritual community and everything that I'm trying to convey with my content, I'm also at the point where it's just like, this is me. Part of spirituality, part of self-love is just being like, this is who I am, and I'm out here to say that I love myself and to spread that word to this community, to spread that vibration, that frequency, and hopefully inspire some other people to feel more comfortable in their skin. So even to my first point, there's a lot of duality in that statement and that feeling, because I think that you can show a lot of spirituality through that like self-love, that confidence that you show when you're doing boudoir or implied nude. I think for me, I just specifically need that comfort with the photographer if I'm doing straight up boudoir, or that conceptual aspect to boudoir or implied nude if it's not a photographer that I know personally. So
when I said evolve, I meant like just changed and got a new grasp on it. Or not, okay, I was like, not that you were bad before, you just reborn like a phoenix.
Well, I think at the beginning I was still getting comfortable with regular modeling too, so I was like, I'm still trying to figure out my face when I have clothes on. I'm not sure how it's gonna look when I don't have clothes on.
What the fuck am I supposed to do with my hands?
Yeah, yep. Probably cover something up, but you know.
Ricky is so playful. Since we're going to a healing, or a whole round healing weekend, would you be able to answer what is Reiki? Is that something you could get into? It's okay if not, we can skip over that bad boy.
I can get into it. I'm not going to say this is the best explanation of it in the world. I don't personally practice Reiki healing on anyone else. I've had one Reiki session. It was a distance Reiki by Anna, the person who's hosting this retreat. You can find her on Instagram at Smudge Yourself.
It's fun because, you know, go smudge yourself on anything.
But yeah, I've had one Reiki session with her. It was distance Reiki. It was really cool. So basically what it is honing in on certain parts of your body where you're holding on to energy that doesn't serve you, whether it be physical or emotional or mental or what have you. And basically pointing out those areas to you so you can practice ways of releasing that energy. And then there's also some sort of healing energetic transaction there as well. So basically, as far as I understand it, Reiki healers have gotten so in touch with what energy feels like, how energy flows through you, being able to tap into certain types of energy and leaving out the others. And in doing that, they're able to tap into a healing energy or an energy that allows you to release whatever you're holding on to, physical, mental, or emotional. Again, that's my personal understanding of it. So I'm not saying you should put this on Merriam-Webster, but
You can Google it if you have more questions.
that is my general explanation.
Idea.
Yep.
Reiki's pretty cool. I did one session. It was also with Anna. We did a little Reiki tarot card. Is that how you say it? Tarot? Okay. Tarot card reading. That was pretty on the fucking nose. And if you haven't tried this shit, go find your local Reiki or tarot card reader and fucking figure some shit out about yourself. Next question. You want to do another question? Should I take a break? Okay. Favorite place you've been? Visited?
That's a hard one. So I'd say in the last couple of years, the places I've visited would be Las Vegas, New Orleans. I've been to Maine a lot because that's where my family lives now. Where else have I gone? I went to New Mexico. Yeah. LA. I went to LA as well. As far as like wanting to return there, I would say LA.
Okay.
I just think that I went there 3 days unexpectedly. There was a blizzard in Denver. I was supposed to fly home from Charlotte, North Carolina. I was originally flying home from Maine. I checked before I got on my flight from Maine to North Carolina to see if the blizzard was going to affect my flight going into Denver. And it said no, that it was still going on, the flight that is. And I pulled up in North Carolina. As soon as I got off, I saw that my flight was canceled. I was like, cool, all right. So this was the end of a 2-week trip to visit my family in Maine, mind you. So
very relaxing, yes.
No.
No.
But on top of that, you know, it's been 2 weeks since I've been home. The budget is real slim at this point, as in like practically non-existent. So I'm like, okay, cool. How am I supposed to get a hotel in North Carolina? Fun fact, I used to live in North Carolina. But it was not the nicest place in North Carolina to live, at least not for my personal experience. And I no longer have, I guess, a lot of people that I know there. So I was like, I don't have anyone I can stay with. Like, I have someone who would come visit me in my hotel, but not anyone who's going to put me up at their house and then drive me back to the airport in a couple days. So I was like, fuck. So I went up to the customer service and they were like, yeah, we can't cover your hotel. We will cover you on another flight home. So that's cool of us. And I was like, true, but I'm not trying to sleep in the airport for 3 days. So what are my alternatives? And the lady said, well, if you want to, you can fly out to LA and stay there for 3 days and we'll fly you home from there for free. And I was like, huh. And she was like, yeah, but that flight is boarding right now. So if you try to do that, you need to go right now. And I was like, cool, give me that ticket. On top of this, my phone was like dead. So I had like 3% in the airport. I texted my dad, let him know what was going on, that, you know, my flight was canceled. Stood in the customer service line for like another hour, hoping my phone doesn't die. So I had just enough battery to text my dad and be like, all right, I'm getting on a plane to LA. See y'all later. Like,
Get you on the plane.
yeah. And it was so funny because my mom like immediately freaked out, saying that I was gonna have no place to stay and all this stuff. Not to me, of course, but this is why I didn't tell her. I told my dad. Talking about how I didn't have good enough connects in LA to have someone to stay with, whatever. I got there and I sat in the airport for like a couple hours, like figuring stuff out at like 11 p.m. And mind you, I had no resources to hit anyone before I got up on the plane. So like I landed in LA not knowing where I was gonna stay, but just like having this faith that like someone was gonna be like, yeah, come through. So I landed, had 3 people actually that I knew in LA all offered to let me stay with them, which was really dope. And so I stayed for 3 days and I went to the beach. I did a lot of like fun little adventures, thanks to my friend Terry.
Don't know you, but go you.
And another fun fact, Terry and I had actually never met in person until I saw him in LA. I met him on OkCupid in Orlando, and we talked for a hot minute, but shortly after we started talking, he told me, he was like, I'm moving to Hollywood. I'm gonna make this like dream come true. I'm going to California. I'm gonna live in LA. I'm gonna do the damn thing. And right around that same time, I had told him, I'm gonna move to Colorado. I want to live in Denver. That's what I'm gonna do. And so it's really funny that like we never met in person, and then when we did, we were both doing the things that we said we were gonna do. And it was just really good vibes the whole time. I love the fact that it was like Florida, but even cooler, to be honest with you, because I love my mountains in Colorado, but that beach, that warmth, you know, it's just like a whole other vibe. So I would definitely like to go back to LA and do it a little bit different this time. A, with the budget. B, maybe more than 3 days. Maybe do some photo shoots and stuff while I'm out there. One of the friends that hit me back up is a videographer and photographer. He stays busy because he works with a lot of celebrities and stuff, so it would be cool to hit him up ahead of time and maybe plan to do some work or some collaboration with him. So I definitely want to make it back to LA. As far as vibes and vibes alone, New Orleans is a really fucking dope place. You can feel the energy of like years and years of just like different creatives, the jazz music, the culture on the street is really cool. I stayed off of Bourbon Street for the most part because I'm not a drinker at this point in my life. So
like, what's Bourbon Street?
And I went when Mardi Gras wasn't happening for the same reason. I don't like crowds. I like to be able to explore the history of a place, which means being able to get around without like having to go through immense traffic or like things that make it unenjoyable. So I had a great time in New Orleans because another part of it is there's just like creatives on the street selling their art, doing their thing, and there's no like, you don't feel an energetic shift from class to class. It was like everyone was out there on the same street. You know, you could have people that are working a 9 to 5 strolling through Jackson Square on the phone. You go over and fist bump a homeless dude selling his art that he does on napkins from McDonald's. Like, the energy was just really fucking dope the entire time. I stayed in a hostel style Airbnb and I met this guy there who does music. His name's Mike. He's currently in Tennessee, like doing his thing. But I also met another person from Korea, I believe. And she went back to Korea like right after I saw her in New Orleans, and we're still connected on Instagram. As far as like a solo travel experience, that one really hit it out of the park for me. Like, I walked around 3 days straight. I took a bus like one time while I was there when it was raining. Like, I did not feel the need to Uber. I was just totally immersed in the culture and the experience of all the history and everything that there was to experience there. So yeah.
On that option for right now. But I lied. Dream place to go.
Dream place to go. If we're talking about in the United States, I would like to go to Oregon. That's definitely on like the top of my list right now. Fucking gorgeous.
Because it has both. It's like the beach and the mountains.
Yep, and it's always moody. And it's really fucking close to Colorado. Because what's funny is when I decided to move to Colorado, it was just an idea in my head. I didn't even know like what Colorado looked like or anything like that. I was just like, I want to move to either Colorado or Oregon. And so I decided to go on a trip to one of those places with my ex-girlfriend, and we decided on Denver for basically financial reasons, and then like as far as getting around and stuff, it seemed like it would be pretty easy with public transportation and everything. So we decided on Denver, but if I had decided on Oregon, I might not be in this video right now because I was so ready to move to either place. If I visited Oregon first, I might have just ended up there. So, but I definitely need to make it out there at this point.
We gon' visit, we gon' shine on us, you know, alignments and shit. Thank God we got to be here. Thank the universe, Allah, somebody, holler, thank you.
If we're talking outside of the United States,
I was like, in my head I asked, but I didn't actually verbalize that. Where we going?
honestly, it's rough. Like outside of the United States, I want to see everything. I'd like to go to Canada. I'd like to go to Ireland. I'd like to go to Africa. I can't even tell you what part because I'd love to visit South Africa. I'd love to visit like some more indigenous places, some places where you can see like really natural wildlife. And then Asia, like Indonesia, Bali, like Dubai, like there's limitless possibilities outside of the United States. Like in the United States, I've seen a good portion of it. Not that there's not more to see. In the United States, like I've seen a lot of places. I've been to Atlanta, I've been to New York, I've been to, I don't know, a little bit of the West Coast. I've been to Seattle, I've been to LA, I've been to Nevada. So at this point, I've hit quite a few places in the United States. And I've seen a lot of different culture, and I know that there's still probably more in the United States to experience, but when I think about how contrasting some of the cultures outside of the United States are and all the expansion that contrast like has to offer, it definitely makes me like adventure hungry. Like I'm ready to get out there and like go see this. Like I just love the experience of being immersed in a new place, in a new way of life, in a new kind of people and what their traditions have to offer, different languages, like all of it. Like I just love that idea of like, I don't know, being able to kind of just go into some place that you're not familiar with and like experience it. There's just like something really beautiful in like humans' ability to do that. So
it's a whole other kind of rush. Like you got a little bit of it, I can like only assume or guess based on going to New Orleans, because that hostel style living while you traveling makes you meet people that you've never fucking had a chance to meet before, and then just fucking get in the thick of it.
Yep. And for some reason, like they always like when you travel like that, I feel like it's just the universe aligning you with people that are on the same frequency of you. Like I never imagined when I went to New Orleans that I was gonna meet the couple of people on my Airbnb that I met, because like it was just such a breath of fresh air.
It's breath.
Such a breath of fresh air compared to like the people I was surrounded with in Orlando at the time, which is where I was traveling to New Orleans from. And it was shortly before I moved. Actually, it was 3 months before I moved from Orlando. And I was just really sick of the relationships that I was running into there, the energy exchanges that I was having. But I also know that a lot of that was what pushed me to leave, and I knew that that was a huge part of my journey. So I definitely recommend that kind of traveling, that solo travel, that hostel living, because it really just like allows you the opportunity to be on the same frequency and see with other people that are looking for that one-on-one, hands-on, individual experience of travel rather than like, you know, 300 people staying in a hotel, not even saying hi to each other, you know? So it's just like a really different environment and a really different energy in those kinds of situations, in those travel environments, so.
Fuck yeah, fuck it up, sis. We got some great places to see in the world. I fucking feel ya. Definitely got a couple more places I'd like to tick off my belt or whatever. Notch on my bedpost. It's a Fall Out Boy song. Look it up. FOB toss in. I think I'm low key ready for a switch brew because your girl's dying. Okay. Fuck yeah.
All right. Signing off.
This season.
Let her know I ready though. Voicemail say she ready though.
Oh, I forgot I took my hat off.
Niggas know I'm credible.
All natural. Well then,
I wonder if anyone else is
update.
like, running this late.
We're not late. We're just fashionably showing fashionably
Showing up right at here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. We're like, hey.
I'm gonna go left.
Okay.
I'm feeling left.
You probably right.
Stay in the left
okay.
lane.
Cool. As always, she knows what the fuck is up.
In
Update.
2.3 miles, turn right onto West 7th Street.
Update. Weird piece of my car fell off. There's some weird wire hanging out of it, but maybe kind, a little ominous looking, but
He's
a little
kind to
freaked
us.
out. Yeah, he was kind to us, and
Yep.
I was at first I was like, sir, but then they popped back the piece in place, and we're smoking some cigarettes, and I don't want a cigarette. Might cut that out because Isaiah hates cigarettes.
Facts.
Anyways, TTYL.